So our theme today is we're going to talk about relationships. Jessica's going to come in. She's going to talk about relationships. She's a relationship expert and fantastic person, and you'll love her when you see her. I'm going to talk a little bit about relationships in terms of maybe something's not going so well, right? A relationship that maybe you're not totally satisfied with.
Whether it's a relationship with your partner, your lover, or a parent, you can apply the same tools wherever you are.
I love this audience. All right, well, welcome to Living Your Vision, the show where we help each other overcome our primitive fears and create positive habits so we can live the lives we are meant to live. You ready to do that? Yeah. Ready to have some fun? Yeah. All right, beautiful. Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about relationships in terms of maybe something's not going so well, right? A relationship that maybe you're not totally satisfied with. Does that happen here? Anyone here? Yes. Maybe some relationships aren't working out so well the way you want them to be, and they maybe bring you some discomfort. Okay, so why is that happening? A lot of times we put up with relationships that aren't good for us because our primitive mind doesn't want us to be shunned from the group. I talk about the caveman man. The caveman mind is all about survival. Okay, so if you think about it, way back in the day, we're living out there in the wild. What did we need to survive? We needed food, right? We needed protection. Right? We needed a mate, right? We needed family, we needed a group. So in order to be part of that group, we had to accept the people that we were with. And maybe we tolerated things we didn't. And so we don't want to be shunned because if you got there on your own, are you going to survive in the wild by yourself? Probably not as easily as we would have as a group. So our subconscious mind, our primitive caveman mind is about staying in the group and being accepted and not taking risks. And sometimes that can be a good thing or a bad thing. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit. If you've got a relationship that's in your life, could be finance, could be money, it could be a job or a relationship, something that's not working out so well, how do you deal with that? What do you do about that? Okay? So, Ann, come on up. And this is for you all to follow along. You take notes. I'm going to walk you through. So I want you all to do this together. So, Ann, how you doing? Jimmy, thanks for coming up. Good. So you have a relationship in your life that's not exactly going the way you want to go. Okay. And you would like to go a different way. And what kind of problems does it cause for you?
Well, I have a child, and, I'm going through a divorce. So that process of the legality of it creates tension within the relationship. So we're not able to get to a place of just like a peaceful co-parenting environment.
And how does that affect you and your ability to function?
It creates stress, and the fact that I have to think about it or be concerned about it or protect myself. There's a feeling of like needing to have protection to be safe.
Good. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do today, and this is for all of you to go along. You think of something in your life, someone you've got, okay? And you've got a conflict with that person or whatever that thing is. Close your eyes. Go ahead and close your eyes. And think about having compassion for yourself and really loving yourself. And knowing that you show up every day to do your best and you're a good person. Can you feel that? Can you feel that, Ann?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Now, feel that compassion and send it to that person or that being or that thing that is making you feel uncomfortable. But feel some compassion for that. Feel some compassion for that person. Do you feel it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I heard someone say one time that everyone's intention is good. Everyone's doing their best thing. It may not be what's best for you, but they're trying to do what's best for them. So if you can approach it with compassion and what they're doing with compassion, it might change the way you look at them. Now, do you have an ideal solution? You guys can open your eyes now for how you'd like this relationship to be.
Yeah, I would just like a fair resolution to, the assets and the things that we built together. And then ideally, I would love just to have love and compassion for each other so that we're both living the best life that we can and in a very supportive way. And then obviously making sure that our child has, the best opportunities for his future.
Mm-hmm. So you've got a clear picture of what you want. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, here's where we tend to make the mistake. It's because our caveman mind is all about scarcity. It's about trying to keep us in control. And the thing about it is having compassion for the other person and staying focused on the solution. Stay in the solution. And when you're feeling that, think about a solution. So think about a moment that you had with this person that may not have been going well, and think about a solution of what you want, like you just talked about. You thinking about that?
Okay.
You got something in mind? Now, people have, in relationships, they walk in with expectations. I expect the other person to do something, right? But what we really have are agreements. So you can't expect something from the other person, but you can have an agreement with them. And if they agree not to do anything, then you can't. All you can have is an agreement with yourself. So what is an action that you can take the next time you get in that situation that'll keep you in your solution?
I'm not sure I'm totally clear. So an action that I can, so first I'd have to figure out the solution.
Yes.
The solution that I want.
Yes.
And then the action that I can take to keep me in that solution.
Yes.
Minimal communication.
Okay. There you go.
Or just like very direct,
Mm-hmm.
very direct, and like keeping emotion out of the communication would probably be best
There you go.
suited.
So coming from a compassionate place, it takes us away at that negative emotion and creates a space where, okay, they've got an issue. I want a solution. So I'm not going to hold their thing against them. I'm going to do the best I can, and I know they're doing the best I can.
Yeah.
So that's the
Benefit of the
suggestion.
doubt, which I got from Abraham Hicks.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Benefit of the doubt.
All
Yeah,
right.
giving the benefit of the doubt.
Beautiful. All right, well,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So just real quick, again, it's about having compassion for yourself to start with, because you're just doing your best. Don't beat yourself up, and just understand that they're doing what they can. And then stay in your solution, okay? Because a lot of times we get so focused on that energy of the negative and what we don't like that it keeps us from doing what we need to do. And stay focused in the solution and just take the actions that you can take and let it go. All right? Does that sound good? All right, good. Now, beautiful. Now I'm going to bring up Jessica, and she's going to talk to you guys about how to create that relationship that you want. You ready? All right, let's give it a hand for Jessica. Well, thank you for coming out to the show.
Thanks for
and
having
being
me.
a guest and all this kind of stuff. So tell me about your story. What do you do?
So I'm a holistic coach and also an intuitive healer, which means I do an array of things from coaching people with their life stuff and accountability. I tend towards relationships. I'm also a yoga teacher, a Reiki practitioner, and a sound healer. So when people come to me for a session, they really never know what they're going to get. And I sort of intuitively feel through what their needs are and how I can best support them.
Okay. So of those things, which one do you find, or if there is one or a couple, that you're most passionate about?
Reiki, for sure. Yeah.
Why is that?
Energy movement through the body is something that's so powerful. And the cool thing is people can actually do it for themselves. They can ground themselves. They can center their energy. They can shift their perspective. And lo and behold, the energy moves through their body. So if you come to me for a session, I do it for you. But I also love to give people tips and tricks on how to move their own energy.
Wow. So real quick, explain to the layperson who doesn't know Reiki, maybe some in the audience are watching this, explain Reiki in a couple sentences.
So Reiki is an ancient Japanese technique where the practitioner calls in life force energy, light healing energy, and focuses it on one person and throughout their body to balance all of their energy centers.
And is this like the 7 chakra kind of thing?
Yeah,
or?
so some people call it chakras, some people know it as the chakras or energy centers, some people will call it meridians. In science, you can actually measure the energy fields of these spaces in your body, and they all have like their own brain almost. You know, and this is stuff that you can measure with instruments that you can find in any hospital, which is, I love it because it's backed by science.
Yeah, it's funny. My daughter was in neuroscience, and she did a whole thing, and she put the EEGs on people's brains and measured, and they did meditation, and they did yoga and how it affected them. And it really is a lot of science to back it. That's great.
So much.
So tell me about how you got into coaching people in relationships. Tell me about that.
So I went through my own personal development journey about 7 years ago now. And through that process, I was like, oh my gosh, all these tools are amazing. There's so much to EQ, you know, emotional intelligence. And I kind of became addicted to it. And once I saw transformation happen in real life, in a room, in a moment, in a weekend workshop, and people would go away never being the same, I was hooked. And I knew that I wanted to support people in that. And yeah, I've been doing it ever since with large groups of people or one-on-one coaching.
So when someone comes to you for a relationship problem, what kind of relationship thing would they be going through that you're most skilled at helping them with? Or the thing that you're best, you have the most success helping someone with?
Well, it's interesting because I think it runs the gamut. You know, relationships are all pretty standard and there's a lot of patterns. So whether it's a relationship with your partner, your lover, or a parent, or your relationship with money, or your relationship with your career and your job, you can apply the same tools wherever you are. That being said, my focus and what I really do love is relationships with partners, marriage, and I also work with single people to help them be the one before they go out looking for the one. So yeah, I think my sweet spot is romance, but it's interesting because the same tools apply across the board. Yeah.
That's good. So I love that you said you got to be the one to get the one.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be that person that you want to attract. I love that's fantastic.
If you're looking for the perfect partner, the first thing that I say to my clients is, are you already the perfect partner? Would you want to be with you?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so you ready to help them out with some emotional relationship stuff?
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm going to give you the mic, and it's all yours.
Thank you,
All right,
Jimmy.
thank you.
All right.
Everybody. Jessica. Woo!
All right, guys. So I'm going to do an even deeper dive kind of on what Jimmy touched on. And what we're going to do is a guided journaling session that I do often for myself. It's part of my 7-day journal jump, which I'm about to release. And we're gonna scale it down to a little 5-minute quick thing. So I'm going to teach you a series of things that you can take away with you and use as a guided meditation for yourself and a journaling session. So I'm going to have Lauren come up and assist me with this. And just for a few moments, I'm going to have everyone close their eyes. Get relaxed. You can have your hands in your lap if you want. And then, Lauren, you're going to close your eyes as well. Awesome. And we're just going to get grounded. We're going to increase our vibration or get ourselves into a peak state, whatever you want to call it, whatever school of thought you have. But it's so good to use the breath to get grounded and centered before we start making decisions. Okay, so let's take a deep breath up from the base of your spine to the top of your head and release any energy that's not serving you, that's not for your highest good. Let's take another breath together. Inhale, scooping up anything that's stuck and let it go. With this last breath, take it as slow as you can and imagine you're aligning all the energy centers of your body from your base through your belly and your heart and your throat to the top of your head. And now let it go with a sigh. Okay, now with your eyes closed, I want you to call to mind a few things that you're grateful for. So getting into gratitude, getting into the receptive mode means it's already happened. The abundance has already been given. So just select one thing out of that lot that we're all so blessed to have and allow yourself to feel the physical sensations that gratitude brings. What are the emotions? Where does it live in your body? And let that thing go. And then call to mind the second thing that you're grateful for. Whether it's a person or, maybe a pet, maybe your job, maybe your car, maybe a new opportunity, a trip. Whatever it is, fill yourself up completely with the energy that brings into your life, because everything we have brings its own energy into our space. And dance with that energy. Love it, accept it, all of it, because it's for you. Sometimes we hold ourselves back even from the best of things. Let it fill you up. And then let that one go. And finally, with a third thing, we're just going to pick something so small. Like I use the flowers in front of my house that I get to walk by every day. Something constant, because it's there no matter what. All right. And allow yourself to be filled up with the blessing, the goodness that even the wind can bring into your life. Great. Now, keeping your eyes closed in this state, I want you to call to mind a relationship that you're having some trouble with, okay? So bring this person right into the center of your focus. And if you don't have a relationship, then I want you can choose a situation, because we have a relationship with our career. We have a relationship with our finances. And bring it right into the forefront of your mind. And I want you to imagine this person as a child. Imagine this thing, and if you're using like a business in its infancy stages, when it's brand new, as a baby, and then imagine it a few years older, like a 10-year-old. You know, what kind of struggles are happening for this person when they're a teenager? What are they going through? What are their challenges? How are people treating them? Into their early 20s, what are they facing? Are they facing adversity, discrimination, abuse, a lack of opportunity? Are they surrounded by a beautiful community the way that you might be? So by putting ourselves in their shoes, we create compassion, right? Now I want to shift back to you and pull the lens back wide on the relationship with this person. And rather than look at the trouble, and this is the key, I want you to start to bring to mind all the gifts that this person actually has been to you, all the lessons that you've gotten from them, whether it be through a way that you didn't really want to have. You know, you learned something more about yourself, about the world, through this relationship with them. And you're going to be able to take that into your life. What a gift, right? If we can see every person as a gift and a teacher, I know that our come from, which is the only thing we can control, is going to be a lot healthier, a lot more abundant, and a lot more beautiful. So slowly open your eyes, and this is when I want you to begin to just journal a few things. So open up the conversation with your page about what gifts that person is to you. And then what would you say is the challenge right now for you, that you kind of made it a troubled relationship?
I would say the challenge with my job right now is that I'm needing to find balance with it, because it's a part-time job. So it supports my lifestyle, and it supports my, helping me pay for my bills. I'm working the same event over and over again, and my challenge is finding new events to work.
Okay. So, and would you say that this is your passion?
No,
Okay.
a little bit. I really enjoy doing it, but it's not like my passion.
Right. So I'm hearing you say that this pays the bills and it supports you in your lifestyle, because you have something else that you're building as, your passion, your career.
Yes, correct.
Okay, great. So then when you went through the exercise and we got to the end of thinking about everything that this has given you, and the lessons and the teachings and maybe all of the gifts, can you speak to some of that?
Yeah. There's so many lessons in working with events. I work with many different people, so I'm constantly learning something about myself through them. I'm constantly using tools of compassion and patience, and I'm exercising myself in ways of always being of service to people, and just always trying to work my hardest with everybody and set a good impression of myself.
Amazing. So would you say that this exercise helped you view it in a much more grateful way, and to really take everything out of it that's positive that you can?
Yeah, because I believe everything that I've learned through working events is such a parallel in my life, in every single area of my life. I can use these tools.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. All right, you guys, I hope that was helpful and that you take away this tool. I like to flesh it out like at least once a week, honestly, and I'm going to be sharing more to come. Thank you. Yeah.
Give a hand for Jessica. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know, that's a great point. And I got to say, personally, for me, I had a similar situation where I have a job in finance, and I was not happy with it. I was miserable and resentful. And I told you, I have a passion to teach. And I realized the same thing. It's like, what are the gifts this job gives me? What does it provide for me? It provides my family. It provides some structure. And I got to tell you, something that I heard that's really helpful along those lines is bloom where you're planted. Wherever you are right now, be the person you got to be, because that's going to translate into everything else you do.
Yeah.
And it's going to set the foundation for those other things, the bigger things. Because we all think, if I get there, then my life's going to be great. No, it's yes. And yes, I have a great life. I've got a career that's helpful. I've got family and friends who really do love me. And I can have blah, blah, blah. So that's fantastic. That's good stuff.
Thank
all right.
you.
Good. Okay, so how can our folks find you if they want to work with you?
I'm on Instagram at journey.with.jessica. And that's also my website, journeywjessica.com.
Beautiful. All right, well, thank you. All right. Let's give a hand for Jessica. And thanks again, you guys, for tuning in. Thanks, you audience, for being here. You guys have been fantastic. I love it. And if you want to catch up with me, I'm at Jimmy Green. I'm sorry. Oh. I'm supposed to know my website. I'm at getintentional.com. It's get-intentional.com. And I'm on Instagram at @1JimmyGreen. And then, of course, there'll be more information on the video when you see the video at the bottom. But anyway, thanks again for coming. And just remember, okay, that you can have everything you want. You can have your vision. It's about overcoming those fears one habit at a time. You guys ready to do that? All right, thanks for tuning in. Thanks a lot, you guys.